Small is good, it doesn't have to be big. This model comes in an Atlas Weycor branded box. And as you can see, it's a small excavator, it's the AR420. At one end of the box there's a usual load of words, and at the other there's an address. But if we look underneath, we can see this model is by NZG and it's model number 8841. On the weighbridge it's 6.6 ounces, which is 185 gramlets. Okay, let's open the box and see what's inside. Well, we have the standard pair of expanded polystyrene trays and they're taped together. Time to get the sharp knife out, making sure we don't cut off our own fingers. As we peel back the top tray, we see the model sitting inside. So let's be gentle and carefully lift it out. And as you can see, it is wrapped in soft paper. As you can see, there's some packaging to remove and it's masking tape, which is there to keep the bucket pins in place. And it's wise because they do easily come out. So much so that some extra pins are thoughtfully provided. Let's check the weight of the model on its own, and it's 4.4 ounces, which is just 125 grams. Just a reminder that you can see a lot more about models on the Cranes Etc. website, and the link to it is in the video description below. Also, if you want to know where you can buy scale models, then you can click on links on the website, including those in the shopping mall. And listed here are dealers that sell models in countries across the world. No assembly to do, so straight in with the detail. And you can see that the axles are detailed and there's a drive shaft running to the front axle. The tyres have got a nice deep tread pattern, and a nice touch on the model are the soft mud flaps. At the rear, the engine cover is nicely shaped, and there are sharp Weycor graphics. The rear lights are detailed by paint and there's a non-usable towing hitch. And overall the detail is crisp enough. The wheels are nicely formed with deep hubs and holes, so the tyres also look good. At the rear, the engine grills are formed of graphics. There are textured steps which lead up to the cab, and the detail at the pivot point is fairly simple with no hydraulic hoses. But the mud flaps look good. Moving to the loader arms, and the hydraulic ram jackets are slightly off colour, and some of the securing rivets are a little on the large side. The metal bucket is a fairly simple casting with well-formed teeth. Let's now have a look at the cab, and it has plastic grab rails and mirror assemblies. And the detail includes a windscreen wiper. There are painted lights on the roofline. The doors are detailed very well with a black frame all around, and there's decent interior detailing. Behind the cab, the exhaust is plastic and there is another windscreen wiper. The roof is metal. Back we go underneath the model, and the rear wheels are fixed to a common axle, as are those at the front. There is steering across the pivot point and it achieves a reasonable angle. There's some good model engineering here because you can also get some rotation at the pivot point. Out onto the Cranes Etc. test track, and the 420 rolls along reasonably well, but it's not free rolling because of friction in the axles. If you set the steering, you can manoeuvre the machine very well, and if you've got a skillful wrist, you can also drive it and steer it at the same time. Let's shovel along to the shoveling, and we'll start by raising up the bucket. The loader arm mechanism works well and it's stiff enough to hold any pose, and it reaches a good height. It's also good when it comes to the tipping angle. Let's lower it all the way back down, and you can see that you get a good shoveling angle, and it's always nice to see that there's a very good carry angle too. For the genuine imitation real life test, we need to see how this machine can load a tipper, and you can see that the bucket reaches high enough to reach over the side of a European style tipper. And it's also possible to empty the bucket. There is another nice feature on the model, which is that the rear engine cover can be opened, although the angle that it achieves is limited. But even so, you can see the engine that's underneath, and that is well detailed. Let's close it back up and move on to the last feature, and that is that the bucket is removable. There are 2 steel pins which slide out very easily, and are well trained at running away and getting lost. If you're interested, there is an accessory which can fit this model, and it's NZG model 936. And here you can see it in its simple packaging, and it's a set of forks including a pallet. If we get all the parts out, you can see that it's made up of a number of pieces. To show what the pallet forks would look like, here it is being installed on a different Atlas Weycor loader. This is a nice detailed scale model of the Atlas Weyhausen Weycor AR420 wheel loader. It is a small model, but it has some very nice functionality, so it has flexibility in how you can display it. And of course, a model like this always looks good when you display it with others. So overall, this model is rated as very good.